As one of the biggest Blake Lively supporters on this app, this footage that I'm about to show you guys is gonna make it really, really difficult for me. Sorry, but this girl just keeps digging herself into a hole that I cannot dig her out of. This behind the scenes footage of them filming a very romantic scene, and in the scene, it is very apparent that Blake Lively is very comfortable and almost a little bit flirtatious. This could have been well before he did something that made her feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying that SH did not happen on the set of this movie, but as new evidence becomes available, it is much harder to be on Blake Lively's side, and I am still trying.
In the newest installment of Hollywood's ongoing drama saga, we discover ourselves captivated by the tale of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, co-stars in the movie version of It Ends With Us. What started as a hopeful partnership has descended into a courtroom mess with claims soaring quicker than a gossip magazine's printing machine. Lively, recognized for her graceful presence, has charged Baldoni with misbehavior and launching a defamation effort against her. Baldoni, refusing to stay silent, has retaliated with legal action of his own, alleging slander and blackmail.
Times released Blake Lively's complaint, suing Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, Jamie Heath, his PR company, and many more. There are a lot of allegations in this complaint, but primarily it alleges sexual harassment and retaliation. The complaint goes into significant detail about what occurred, including an all-hands meeting where Blake's team presented a list of items that Justin Baldoni and his team had to immediately cease. There were also thousands of pages of text messages indicating that Baldoni and his team planned social media attacks against Blake Lively. Okay, so how does all of this work from a legal perspective? Blake must prove her claims by a preponderance of the evidence, meaning that it is more likely than not that the harassment and retaliation occurred. So what are the next steps? Justin and the other defendants have 30 days to respond to the complaint. Okay, so Justin does not need to prove his innocence, but his team will need to disprove Lively's version of the events to show that the allegations are false or that his conduct was actually lawful.
Amid this judicial skirmish, the focus has now shifted to Lively's attorney, who, following a major legal loss, has supposedly disappeared swifter than a star's short-lived romance. Let's explore this intricate network of lawsuits, accusations, and vanishing acts that render even the wildest soap operas appear ordinary.
And also countersue. There was also a question about whether Justin would be held personally liable or whether he would be indemnified by the studio. Under California law, Justin can be held personally liable for his actions if he was acting in his personal capacity and not as a producer, director, or employee of the studio. So what about damages? In this type of case, Blake does not necessarily need to claim financial damages. She can just claim wrongful conduct. However, that is not the case here, and any good lawyer knows to throw in the kitchen sink in a complaint. The complaint alleges that Blake's personal brand suffered, as well as her businesses, including her alcohol brand Betty Booze and her hair care brand, Blake Brown. So, will this case go to trial? In my opinion, it is unlikely that this kind of case will settle because Blake Lively has plenty of money. This will likely go on for quite some time, so stay tuned because Baldoni's answer is due in 30 days.
The story originates on the set of It Ends With Us, a cinematic take on Colleen Hoover's popular book. In January 2023, the casting reveal was announced, with Lively and Baldoni slated to lead, and Baldoni also stepping into the director's role. By May 2023, production had begun, but hints of friction on set started emerging. These murmurs intensified when, in December 2024, Lively lodged an official grievance, asserting that Baldoni had fostered a toxic workplace with improper remarks and unwanted overtures. She additionally alleged that after she raised her issues, Baldoni and his crew initiated a defamation drive to damage her standing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we're gonna have to rename this movie to It Never Ends because Justin Baldoni has just filed his own 80-page lawsuit, this time against the New York Times for defamation, specifically $250 million worth of defamation in what he says is actually a smear campaign against him. So because we're intellectually honest over here, I read the entire lawsuit from front to back.
Baldoni's reply was prompt and forceful. In January 2025, he launched a $400 million lawsuit against Lively and her spouse, Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of masterminding a scheme to ruin his profession. He claimed that the duo wielded their fame to wrest artistic control of the movie and exclude him from the endeavor. Baldoni's filing depicted a powerful pair exploiting their industry influence to marginalize him and dominate the project.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin. There's a number of different defendants here. Stephanie Jones will be all over this complaint. That is the PR agent who was supposed to be working for Justin Baldoni. Leslie Sloan, who's another PR agent who will be part of this lawsuit. That was Blake Lively's. Blake Lively will be sued, and we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
As the courtroom clash escalated, both parties waged a battle of public perception. Lively's camp unveiled a collection of text messages allegedly revealing Baldoni's publicists plotting tactics to sink her in the press. One message stated, "We can bury anyone," implying a purposeful effort to sully Lively's reputation. Baldoni's side fired back, accusing Lively of twisting these exchanges to suit her story, asserting that the texts were misinterpreted and did not indicate a planned defamation push.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer has spoken out on a podcast in regards to the potential of a settlement between his client and Blake Lively. As well, an intimacy coordinator has weighed in and has said that she thinks that Blake trusted Justin at one point. Basically, Blake Lively Justin Baldoni cases likely won't settle before trial, and this is according to Justin's lawyer. So 3 months after Blake Lively levied SH allegations on the set of It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni's lawyer admitted that a settlement likely isn't in the forecast. Now that is significant because generally civil cases do end in settlement. The vast majority of them do. However, there can be cases where things are really, really intense and you've got parties that just will absolutely refuse to settle. And I think that is interesting because previously we have seen that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni both refused to meet with the mediator and potentially have a settlement. So what was true in February, it seems nothing much has changed. We're still going to court, at least according to Brian Friedman. So the high-profile litigator Brian Friedman noted that his client has been destroyed by this, his words, as he broke down the cases during a recent appearance on the podcast The Town. So the host said, how long can this go on? I don't believe there will be a trial in the case. I think that the potential for the circus and the damage to both sides here will ultimately win out and you guys will settle. So if that's the case, why not just settle now? And then said, what's the number? What would it require for this to go away? Just to stop. And I think it's interesting. We talked a bit in the chat just about this, and a lot of people felt like the only thing that would really make a settlement possible would be an apology, a public apology.
In the thick of this legal and PR storm, attention swung to Lively's legal counsel. Her attorney, who had been outspoken in the press, endured a major defeat when a judge rejected a crucial part of Lively's case, citing inadequate proof. This setback struck a blow to Lively's position, and per insiders, sparked heightened examination of her legal team's methods. After this courtroom loss, rumors surfaced that Lively's attorney had grown unreachable and was skipping planned discussions. Theories abounded, with some proposing the lawyer had retreated to escape the repercussions of the case's unraveling, while others suggested the lawyer was recalibrating to craft a fresh approach amid recent obstacles. Whatever the cause, the attorney's abrupt absence injected yet another twist into an already complex narrative.
Saga.
So Friedman then said, you keep referring to it as a circus, and I get it. You see a lot of cases, you see a lot of things, and you do a great job. But the reality is this is not a circus when you go through an experience like this. And that's true. I think it's easy for people to kind of sit back on the sidelines and be able to, take this in almost as entertainment, but these types of cases take a massive personal toll. They take a huge financial toll. So Friedman added, I've represented a lot of people in the worst moments of their careers, the worst moments of their life. And Justin has been destroyed by this. This is a really serious thing. And in this day and age, the only way you can truly get back is to prove your innocence. And he noted how trials are now important to prove your innocence. And that's exactly what we're working to, he said. So that may only be done in a courtroom. And I think that that's entirely possible. And we're going to see how things go when it comes to that.
The media storm encircling the case has been unyielding. Tabloids have scrutinized every twist, from the first accusations to the latest judicial moves. Public sentiment has split, with some supporting Lively, commending her for confronting alleged wrongdoing, while others see Baldoni as a target of a deliberate bid to derail his livelihood. Social media channels have been alive with arguments, memes, and wild theories, mirroring the divided opinions of the audience.
This, I don't know how many of you guys remember this article, but it was absolutely everywhere. And basically, Mia's take on the video was that it didn't prove Justin's case. It actually backed up Blake's, which a lot of people disagreed with, and it caused a lot of controversy. So I was interested that Mia spoke for this documentary. So let's get into what Mia said. So a Hollywood intimacy coordinator believes there was, at least at one point, some affection between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So Mia, whose credits include Apple TV Plus's Lessons in Chemistry and HBO's Insecure and Perry Mason, weighed in on the dramatic on-set feud between the It Ends With Us co-stars, which is now the subject of multiple lawsuits. Dueling lawsuits filed by Lively and Baldoni include text messages the stars sent to one another while filming the movie, including a discussion in which the pair discussed script changes that Baldoni ultimately acquiesced to.
Amidst the turmoil, the creation of It Ends With Us has been eclipsed by the legal conflicts. The movie, originally scheduled for a broad debut, has had its marketing efforts stymied by the adverse attention. Industry observers predict that the persistent dispute might affect the film's ticket sales and award prospects. The project's investors are apparently worried about recovering their funds, given the damaged profiles of its main stars. The legal field has also noticed the case, especially the behavior of Lively's attorney. Ethics panels are said to be assessing the lawyer's conduct, particularly following the sudden vanishing. Peers have voiced shock at the attorney's unusual actions, noting that such moves could carry lasting consequences for their legal path. As the chaos subsides, uncertainties linger about the fate of those entangled. Will Lively and Baldoni manage to reclaim their careers after such a visible clash? Can the film surmount the bad press to win over viewers? And perhaps most fascinatingly, will Lively's attorney re-emerge to persist in the struggle, or has this courtroom fight claimed yet another victim?